Imagine waking up every morning to a world you were told is yours, yet never asked if you wanted it. A world of endless obligations, invisible rules, and unspoken contracts. You breathe, you move, you exist, and yet from the very first moment you signed up for a game whose rules you never understood. A game whose sole purpose is to drain you, bend you, punish you, and force you to call it life. Every second you live, the clock marks your consent, a silent agreement you never consciously made. Society calls it progress. Religion calls it purpose. Philosophy calls it existence. But strip away the illusions, and what remains? A slow, grinding torture that masquerades as living. Picture this. A child is born and immediately handed a map filled with expectations. Go to school, follow rules, obey authority, work, conform, fit, achieve, obey again, repeat. And all along, the world whispers, you're free, but you are not. Freedom is an illusion wrapped in paperwork, social norms, and polite smiles. You are trapped, and the cage is invisible. Now imagine your mind. Consciousness is both your weapon and your jailer. You think, you feel, you reflect. Every memory, every thought, every fleeting happiness is tinged with awareness of mortality. You can feel the slow passage of time, the creeping inevitability of decay, the weight of every decision you didn't choose to make. You are aware of suffering, your own and that of millions, and you cannot unsee it. You signed up for this voluntarily. Yet who gave you the choice? No one. Your consent was assumed. Birth itself is your signature on a contract you never read. And now, every smile is temporary, every moment fleeting, every achievement hollow. Pain is inevitable, regret is guaranteed, and death? Well, death is the fine print you cannot escape. Imagine the world telling you to chase happiness, to chase purpose, to chase meaning. But each pursuit is a treadmill, exhausting, endless, and never-ending. You achieve something, only to find it meaningless in the grand scheme. Society applauds your effort, even as it continues to extract your energy, your time, your very essence. The applause is hollow, the reward is fleeting, the game continues. Now layer in subtle cruelties, humiliation, betrayal, rejection, loneliness, invisible comparisons. Society thrives on this. Every insult you absorb, every failure you endure, every silent judgment you receive is a lesson you never agreed to learn. And yet, you internalize it. You make it personal. You feel it painfully, as if you signed up for that too. And in a way, you did. By existing, by continuing to breathe. Imagine your body aging, slowly breaking down. Your mind deteriorates, memory fades, decisions become harder, pain more persistent. And still, society expects productivity, compliance, contribution. Your body screams for rest. Your mind craves escape, and yet you keep moving, keep participating, because surrender is socially unacceptable. Slow torture disguised as duty. Consider the irony. Even pleasure is a trap. Hobbies, love, success, entertainment, all fleeting distractions meant to make the suffering bearable, yet temporary. Even joy is conditional, fleeting, borrowed. You are taught to celebrate moments, yet the next moment is inevitable suffering. You chase relief like water in a desert, always running, never arriving. Ask yourself, why do billions continue this cycle willingly? Generation after generation, human beings repeat the pattern. We teach children to obey, to conform, to endure. We hand them invisible contracts before they can speak, before they can resist, and they sign. Every laugh, every tear, every struggle, every achievement, voluntary or not, is part of the same slow torture. Now imagine the child now grown. Responsibilities multiply. Bills, debt, social obligations, expectations. The illusion of choice remains. You may choose what to eat, where to go, whom to love, but the structure remains unchanged. You are bound by time, by need, by fear, by ambition, by society's invisible chains. And if you pause, if you hesitate, if you refuse, judgment awaits. Isolation, shame, failure, pain. The cruelest part? You defend this system. You call it life. You celebrate it. You seek meaning in a world designed to grind you down. Philosophers have warned, life is suffering. Pain is universal. Consciousness is a curse. Yet humans, ironically, insist on reproducing the curse, signing new lives into this voluntary torment. And each new life inherits the same invisible contract, the same treadmill of slow torture. Now feel it, the clock ticking, relentless, the obligations multiplying, invisible but unyielding, the expectations growing, crushing yet normalized, the awareness of death looming quietly in the corner, the mind conscious, reflective, trapped, the body compliant, aging, punishing. You are both the victim and the participant, both observer and prisoner, both tortured and torturer by the very act of living. And here's the final unsettling paradox. You came here voluntarily. You didn't ask for this, yet you obey it. You don't control the rules, yet you play by them. You are both free and enslaved, a contradiction you will carry your entire life. Welcome to the slow torture you signed up for, the one that started before you even knew the world existed. Time is the first executioner. It doesn't care about your dreams, your morality, your love, or your suffering. It moves, relentless and indifferent, marking your decay with every tick, every breath, every heartbeat. You were born, and instantly the clock began its slow, impartial punishment. You did not ask for this. You never signed the contract. And yet, you obey, you live, you participate, you endure.
From the first moment of consciousness, you begin to understand the cruelty of existence. Nothing waits for you. Nothing bends for you. Nothing cares. The universe is a vast machine of indifference, and your awareness of it is the cruelest gift. To see suffering, to understand mortality, to anticipate decay, these are privileges only consciousness can give. And yet they are curses. Every thought of hope is a dagger, every dream a lie. Some are born into horror before they even cry. A baby left to starve on the cold, filthy streets, too young to understand why their mouth goes empty, why the hunger gnaws at bones that should have been soft and round. A newborn writhing in the cruel hands of a parent who should have protected them, beaten before they can even breathe freely, their tiny bodies betraying them before the world even knows their names. A child with cancer, every heartbeat a countdown, every needle piercing delicate arms, every breath a reminder that existence itself is punishment. And the universe does not intervene. It does not pause. It does not care. Even the world around you conspires to remind you of your futility. Storms, famine, disease, violence, they do not ask if you are ready. They do not pause for innocence or fairness. Life is not a garden, it is a battlefield you never volunteered to enter. Every day you survive is not proof of strength, but evidence of compliance. The clock ticks on, and with it, the unbroken chain of suffering continues. You were born into it, unaware, unwilling, and utterly powerless. Your body, that fragile instrument of perception, betrays you as surely as the universe itself. Organs fail, muscles weaken, senses dull. You anticipate your own decay with every ache, every illness, every reflection in a mirror that shows a body slowly betraying its mind. And in this awareness, terror grows. Not fear of death, but dread of every conscious moment spent alive, knowing the slow and different machinery of existence grinds on without pause. Memory becomes a merciless tool. You recall every slight, every humiliation, every opportunity wasted. You imagine every child who never had a chance. Babies abandoned in alleys, wriggling and crying with empty stomachs, or tossed into labor camps to endure work and pain before they even understand language. You think of war zones where infants scream as homes collapse around them, each cry unheard, each heartbeat another gamble in the indifferent lottery of existence. And still, humanity calls life a gift. Even love, even hope, even fleeting joy cannot shield you from reality. Bonds are fragile, ephemeral, and temporary. Attachments come with inevitable loss. Comfort is borrowed, safety is an illusion, and survival is no guarantee of meaning. Every moment of happiness is a temporary pause in the slow, unrelenting current of suffering. And every consciousness that perceives this is cursed to see the fragility, the futility, the impossibility of escape. Society offers its illusions, purpose, morality, achievement. They are distractions, temporary scaffolds for consciousness. Work hard, love, learn, contribute. These are scripts handed to you before you even knew your own name. Compliance is praised, dissent punished. But underneath it all, the truth remains. These scripts exist to sustain the system, not you. Life does not reward honesty, bravery, or wisdom. It punishes with patience, meticulously and eternally. And you, aware and conscious, march along anyway. The randomness of suffering is total. Disease strikes without pattern. Violence occurs without reason. Famine devastates without morality. You can see babies born with cancer, their tiny lungs struggling to breathe, their tiny bodies ravaged, their first laugh stolen by needles and machines. Another child dies of hunger while streets nearby overflow with wealth, indifference reigning supreme. And every one of them is aware only in the sense that their bodies feel, suffer, and perish. Their consciousness trapped in a universe that does not acknowledge them. Death is inevitable and impartial. It is not mercy. It is the absence of everything. To die is to cease perceiving torment. Yet until that moment, every conscious breath is a testament to suffering, endurance, and the cruelty of awareness. Consciousness ensures torment. You can see decay, injustice, mortality, and futility. It is a gift you never asked for and a punishment you cannot escape. Even your mind becomes your jailer. Thought, memory, reflection, and imagination amplify suffering. You perceive pain that cannot be remedied, mortality that cannot be avoided, loss that cannot be prevented. You understand injustice at scales impossible to confront. Awareness ensures that you see the horror and still you participate. You did not choose to exist. You did not choose to perceive, and yet you endure, fully conscious of the slow, unyielding torture of life. Every distraction is temporary. Entertainment, sex, substances, social media, fleeting love, all illusions meant to pause awareness for a moment. And then, inevitably, consciousness returns, pulling you back into the void of recognition that life is meaningless, arbitrary, cruel, and indifferent. Survival is hollow, happiness is borrowed, the universe is unconcerned, and you, aware, must still continue. This is the cruelest truth. Billions are born without consent. Some are abandoned, beaten, starved, or trapped in illness from their first breath. Some are forced into a life of labor, exploitation, or violence before they can speak a word. Others inherit generations of trauma, abuse, or neglect. And the universe, infinite, eternal, and indifferent, does not intervene. It does not pause. It does not forgive. And yet humanity continues to produce life, aware of this suffering, willingly, voluntarily.
Every birth carries this weight. Every consciousness brought into the world is a sentence to perceive, to endure, to navigate a reality that does not acknowledge your pain, that does not shield innocence, that does not forgive mistakes. Life is suffering made mandatory. Survival is not victory. Compliance is not freedom. And awareness ensures that you, like everyone else, see it clearly. You exist, aware, conscious, observing the indifference of time, the cruelty of the universe, and the suffering imposed on countless lives. And still, you obey. Every breath, every thought, every attempt at comfort confirms your participation in your own torment. You were born, and you endure. Because stopping is impossible, because consciousness is your sentence, because the universe does not care. And now, seeing the full scope, the realization is unbearable. Life is a slow torture you voluntarily signed up for. Every baby beaten, every infant starved, every child with disease, every soul aware of its own mortality, all are proof that existence itself is punishment. Awareness ensures comprehension, and comprehension ensures torment. And yet, billions continue to participate, unaware or unwilling to face the full horror.
The day you are born is the day the universe begins its experiment on you. Every second after, you are subject to a system indifferent to your existence, a world that has no plan for kindness, and a life that will punish you simply for being conscious. You grow, and each memory, each thought, each breath becomes evidence of your participation in a relentless machine of suffering. You live, and in living, you enforce the rules of your own torment. There are children who never hear the word love. Their first sound is a scream, and it meets nothing but silence. They are beaten, abandoned, or starved, and the world moves on as if nothing happened. They do not know choice. They do not know safety. Their innocence is stolen before they even take a breath, replaced by pain and fear. And the universe does not intervene. It never will. The indifference is total. Imagine a baby born with cancer, too small to understand, too fragile to fight. Every heartbeat is a countdown. Every moment is a battle against inevitability. Needles, medications, doctors' hands, all instruments of survival, but survival is no gift here. It is a sentence. Another child is left to starve, while the streets around teem with wealth, abundance that mocks their suffering. Their first cries are swallowed by indifference. And still, billions are born into the same machine, unaware of the cruelty they have been consigned to. Even those who escape the obvious horrors carry scars unseen. Trauma, anxiety, depression, existential dread, the invisible jailers of the mind. Every mistake, every failure, every betrayal embeds itself into consciousness, shaping perception, reinforcing the inevitability of suffering. Life is not an adventure. It is an unrelenting ledger. You give energy, obedience, and awareness, and the world takes it all, asking nothing in return. Your body will betray you. Disease, aging, fatigue, decay, all reminders that the universe does not protect you, that nothing is promised, and that consciousness is a curse. Every cell is subject to entropy, every organ to failure, every thought to despair. The machine does not discriminate. The weak, the strong, the brilliant, the innocent, all will eventually succumb to the same indifferent laws. And yet, we persist, unaware or unwilling to confront the full scope of reality. The illusion of meaning is the cruelest trick. Humanity tells itself stories of purpose, destiny, and morality to make suffering bearable. Religion, ideology, philosophy, all scaffolds to distract from the void. But strip them away, and what remains is raw existence, indifferent, brutal, and absolute. You pursue goals, love people, create beauty, yet the universe watches in silence, never recognizing your efforts, never rewarding your courage, never forgiving your mistakes. You are a conscious observer in a world that does not notice. Every human bond is temporary, every hope borrowed, every joy ephemeral. Parents love, friends care, lovers promise, and yet loss is inevitable. Every connection is fragile, every moment fleeting. Awareness guarantees that you see the fragility, the inevitability, the futility. You live, and in living, you confront loss again and again. Happiness is a temporary break from the inevitable decay of everything you hold dear. And in the end, even the brightest moments are mere shadows against the enormity of suffering. Consider the randomness. Famine strikes without reason. War devours without discrimination. Disease kills without morality. A child dies today from hunger in a world where wealth could have saved them. Another succumbs to illness in a hospital full of people who have the means but not the will to intervene. Another is sold into labor, beaten, trapped in a cycle of abuse before they can even understand freedom. And the universe does not care. It will not intervene. Consciousness is the only witness, and awareness ensures agony. Even time itself is a tormentor. It ticks steadily, a reminder that every second brings you closer to death and decay. You age, weaken, and fail, but consciousness remains. You see the suffering, you anticipate it, and you cannot escape it. Every day survived is not a victory, it is compliance. Every breath is participation. Every thought, awareness. Every awareness, torture. And yet, billions continue to be born into the system. Awareness is distributed indiscriminately. Some are born into privilege, some into horror, but all must endure. Even the so-called fortunate carry the same curse. Consciousness ensures perception of mortality, loss, imperfection. The mind knows what the body cannot escape. Every human life is a sentence, voluntary only in the sense that stopping is socially, physically, and biologically impossible. There is no redemption, no moral balance, no guarantee of justice. You will love and lose. You will hope and despair. You will strive and fail. You will witness cruelty you cannot prevent and endure suffering you cannot explain. And through it all, the universe observes silently, unyielding, unmoved. Consciousness amplifies the cruelty. The more aware you are, the deeper the torment. Ignorance would be mercy, but humanity refuses it. We insist on seeing, thinking, feeling, and that insistence ensures our slow, conscious torment. Death offers no escape until the very end, and even then it is not mercy. It is the cessation of awareness, the final silence. Until that moment, life is a meticulous accumulation of suffering, not accidental, not purposeful, not meaningful, it simply is. And awareness ensures that you feel it fully, understand it completely, and cannot ignore it. Every act, every thought, every breath is proof of participation. So consider this: life is not a gift. Survival is not proof of worth. Consciousness is not liberation. Every baby born, every mind aware, every soul that takes its first breath is a participant in a system of relentless, indifferent torture. Some die quickly, some live to endure decades, but all are subject to the same truth. Suffering is constant, awareness magnifies it, and the universe does not care. This is the ultimate reality, the one truth almost no one confronts. It is brutal, uncompromising, and unavoidable. Life is a slow, conscious torture you did not choose, cannot escape, and are powerless to reject. And yet billions consent blindly, desperately, because awareness itself cannot resist existence. Consciousness is the prison, and life is the sentence. And in this realization, you are left with only one question, echoing endlessly. If existence itself is a punishment, if consciousness ensures torment, if the universe is indifferent, and if survival proves nothing, why do we continue? Why do we keep living, breathing, hoping, loving? The answer is as terrifying as it is simple. Because we must. Because there is no alternative. Because awareness demands participation in its own torment. They never loved you. Every smile, every word, every hug, every promise, all of it was a transaction. Nothing was real, nothing was free. This is not philosophy, it is fact. Life is an experiment in suffering, and you were its subject. Every child beaten, every baby starved, every soul aware of mortality, every consciousness trapped in its own mind, all are evidence. And still the cycle continues. The slow torture marches on, and the universe watches silently, perfectly indifferent. If this video opened your eyes, like it, share it, and comment your story. Subscribe now and don't miss the next video where we expose the brutal truth, how every connection, every relationship, every word of love you thought mattered was just a transaction and the world has been taking from you all along.